Hello everyone and welcome back to the second episode of the new hit series on this channel, I'm Out of Ideas. Last time we took up Love, a Celebration, and this time we'll be taking up Vladimir Putin, Life Coach by Rob Sears. Now, I know what you might be thinking, why would we take advice from this megalomaniac who's driving the world to war? But moving on to the book, we have an interesting contents page. Chapter 1, How to Make Friends and Influence Elections. Chapter 2, You to the Power of Putin. Chapter 3, The 12 Tactics of Highly Ruthless People. Chapter 4, From the Kremlin to Your Cubicle. And Chapter 5, Advanced Reputation Hacking. The first bit of advice it gives us is to set loyalty tests. Putin self-describes himself as a specialist in human relations. Which, to be fair, there seems to be something to it. You know, I think there's a very interesting idea here, which is someone's going to have a lunch with someone, and you know that they're pre-booked. So what you do is you call them up and say, we're going to have lunch now. This is the only time I can do. Come and meet me. And then when they say no, you know to have them killed and shot and their apartments bombed. So I think I can get behind that idea. I don't have access to the utilities of the state, nor its military, police, or any other authorities, really. But I'm pretty sure I could make the threat last. Of course, something which helps, the second thing on the page here, which is form a neighborhood group. So I guess we've all seen neighborhood watches, as in groups of neighborhood watch, not timepieces. Badum tis. But I must say, I always, if I hate an area and I see a neighborhood watch sign, then I know in my heart of hearts that I'm going to destroy every bit of peace I can possibly scavenge from this hellish street. And I will do so shortly before I leave it. But if I enjoy an area and I see a neighborhood watch street, to those that don't enjoy it, I think the plague, and I would have them bricked up in their own homes. But anyway, moving on. Much like, we have a funny little Discord called Viva la Chaos, which is almost a cult at this stage. And it says here that Putin made the Ozera Cooperative at his Dutch, at a group of Dutch, as it seems. And it was there that they decided they would help each other climb the social ranks. And I believe that Discord operates very much the same, so I believe I'm already one step to becoming a dictator. The next page, unfortunately, says to start a bromance/womance, which I'm not so happy with that. It references Putin's rapport with the former Italian president, Silvio Berlusconi, as well as some others. And I think what it's really saying here is make sure to keep friends. But that would require me to give them lavish gifts, which I don't think I have the inclination to afford. The next is hire a sock puppet army, which is essentially just a small section here talking about propaganda and making sure that you make little web brigades that will improve your image. Of course, that is exactly what this is. So, once again, we're getting closer to Moscow. It says to look them right in the eye, but I am not comfortable with that, so I'm going to skip to the next page. Don't leave victory to chance. Luckily, I never win, so it doesn't really matter. Choose your opponents wisely. Now, this, I believe, is very sound advice. You know, they say stealing candy from a baby. I forget the rest of any phrase or term ever attached to it, so I'm just going to assume that that's bad. Certainly, they say it's easy to steal candy from a baby. Of course, I'd say stealing sweets from a baby, because I'm not a godless heathen. However, I think it teaches us a very important lesson. If I was a Cornishman trapped in the mines, and de Plancy whispered into my ears, "Be wary of the demons," then I'd probably be pretty scared, and I'd pick a fight with de Plancy. Because even if he is a demonologist, he didn't look like the healthiest of fellows, and I believe that I could match up against him better than a Cornish miner. Because, of course, in this scenario, I am as buff as a Cornish miner, but still I don't have the heart to fight like they do. So I would use my power like a tyrant. And certainly, I would not pick a fight with the knockers within. Because if there's one thing which you should never pick a fight against, it's a great set of Cornish knockers. Those, of course, being sprites, I would like to clarify. Then we move on to the next page. Leverage intermediaries, which is too long a word for me to care to read. Be Mr. Generous. I don't have anything to be generous with. Hold a power barbecue. Now, this is something which I think, especially, we are currently in spring, or are we anymore? We're either at the end of spring. I guess wait, midsummer just happened. Midsummer, as the Swedish would say. Either way, I feel that this is the perfect time. As the heat ramps up, it's the perfect time to hold a barbecue. And I must say that the whole street of neighbours has been particularly supportive of barbecues as of late. I have many neighbours starting barbecues, going to barbecues, and then they awkwardly invite me, because I tend to linger on the street corners, and I suppose they can't really stomach the idea of just having me watch. They'd rather, at least, that I'm beside them, so that they can keep an eye on me, and not me an eye on them. But perhaps if I were to hold this power barbecue, then I could keep a proper eye on them and have them truly within reach. This would surely gain me the hearts and minds of this street. The next is master the backhanded compliment, which I suppose I like to insult, so I'm going to move on already. Shelter a whistleblower. My house is not big enough to shelter whistleblowers. We're going to have to, as the children of today might say, take an L on this particular feature of the book. The next is to be a good listener. It's hard to listen when nobody's speaking to you. Help the aged. I live rurally in England. Therefore, the majority of the people out here are, as we would say, aged. And I mostly live in poor areas, so they have not aged like wine. And therefore it is a disgusting pursuit. And I believe once again I will, as the children of today say, take an L on that particular feature of the book. Thus we have concluded the first chapter of Vladimir Putin, Life Coach, by Rob Sears. And I can already see some promising points being raised. And I think that soon, perhaps soon, I will be able to display my status and truly take over the Kremlin. Thank you, everyone, for watching and contributing to my climb to tyranny. Have a good day.